What's up, y'all? Welcome back to The Attic. This week, we're going to look at all of the predictions for UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Kavanagh. This card is set to take place in Mexico City. That is, as long as the whole place doesn't burn down first. Before we get into that, let's have a look at last week's numbers. The only event for last week was UFC Fight Night Strickland versus Hernandez. We went 11-4 on wagers across 14 events. That might be a little confusing if you didn't watch last week's video, but the reason we had 15 wagers is because we had some free bet, so the total investment on Sergey Spivak had to be split into 2 wagers. As always, we closed the week with the weekly bonus. This time it was $2.53, ending our bankroll at $777.96. 1 unit this week will be $7.78, and 1.5 units will be $11.67. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's have a look at this week's fights. This fight will be starting off in the middleweight division between Wes Schultz and Damian Pinas. I don't have any wagers on these two fighters, so we'll get straight to the predictions, where all 3 models are almost equally confident in Damian. He's a minus 253 favorite at the books, so I placed 3.79 units on him to return 1.5 units with a win. We do have a lot of new people here, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how this all works. I've created custom machine learning models that take the fights and they predict who's going to win. When 2 models predict the same winner, I will be placing a bet on that fighter no matter what. If they are a favorite, I'll risk enough to return 1 unit, and if they're an underdog, the risk will be 1 unit. If all 3 models agree, all I do is scale 1 unit up to 1.5 units. Very simple strategy. Somehow it just keeps working. The second fight on this card will be a featherweight bout between Eric Silva and Francis Marshall. I've got a single wager against Francis Marshall in the past, and we cashed that one, putting me up 0.3 units between these 2 fighters. This time around, I will again be risking my money on Francis Marshall. At the books, he's a minus 725 favorite, so this wager cost me 10.87 units. Fight number 3 takes us to women's flyweight between Ernesta Caracate and Sofia Montenegro. The models are split here, but the 2 most accurate of them believe that Ernesta Caracate will win this fight. She's a minus 235 favorite at the books, and with only 2 models on her side, I risk 2.35 units to return 1 unit with a win. Next up, we've got Douglas Silva de Andrade taking on Javier Reyes. We don't have any wager history on Silva de Andrade because his last fight was canceled, but I have bet on and against Javier Reyes in the past, cashing both of those for a total profit of 0.69 units. This time around, we've got 3 models, all quite confident in Javier Reyes. I spent 3.37 units on him as a minus 225 favorite. It looks like most of this card takes place in the lighter weight divisions, this one being a bantamweight bout between Chris Moutinho and Christian Quinones. Again, we've got no wager history here. I did place a wager on Quinones in the past, but that fight was canceled before it ever made it to the cards. Again, I'll be placing a wager on Christian Quinones. Hopefully this time he makes it to fight night. He is a minus 700 favorite, so I had to risk 10.5 units. Our second and final women's fight will be a bantamweight bout between Eileen Perez and Macy Chiasson. I've placed 2 wagers on Macy Chiasson, both times as a favorite, and I haven't cashed either one of those, putting me in the negatives by 1.32 units. It seems that the models have mostly learned their lesson, and the bookmakers have as well. 2 of the 3 models favor Eileen Perez here as a minus 182 favorite, so I risked 1.82 units on her. We'll be back in the middleweight division to close out the prelims with a bout between Jose Medina and Ryan Gondra. I've got a couple of wagers against Jose Medina, and I've cashed both of those, putting me in the profit by almost exactly 1 unit. We'll be sticking to the plan here, and again, betting against Jose Medina. All 3 models favor Ryan Gondra, and he's a minus 725 favorite at the books, so it cost me 10.87 units. We'll open the main card at bantamweight with a fight between Angel Pacheco and Santiago Luna. I've only got 1 wager between these two, and it was taking Santiago Luna as a small favorite. I did cash at the time, which returned what amounts to 0.45 units now. Again, I'll be taking Santiago Luna, this time as a much heavier favorite. He's a minus 625 at the books, so it cost me 9.37 units in hopes to return 1.5 units with a win. We'll move down to flyweight for our next bout between Kevin Borjas and Emmanuel Rodriguez. I have not been successful betting on Borjas fights in the past. I've taken him as a small underdog and bet against him as a small underdog, losing both of those. In total, I'm down almost exactly 1 unit. Despite Borjas defying the odds every time in the past, we will again be betting against him as an underdog. Emmanuel Rodriguez is a minus 450 favorite at the books, and all 3 models favor him to win, so I risked 6.75 units on him. Sticking around for another fight at flyweight, this one between Felipe Boons and Edgar Chairez. I've only got 2 wagers between these two, but the record is still perfect. I've taken the favorite in both cases, returning a profit of 0.81 units. We won't be breaking the mold this time, taking Edgar Chairez as a minus 355 favorite. He's favored quite heavily by 2 of the 3 models, and I've taken him for 5.32 units. The feature bout on this card takes place at lightweight between Daniel Zellhuber and King Green. It's been a rough go of it between these two for me. I've taken Zellhuber as a big favorite and lost. I've bet against King Green when he was a favorite and when he was an underdog and gone 50-50 on those two. In total, these 2 guys have cost me more than 4 units. This time around, all of the models are about as confident as you will ever see them. 3 pretty much spot on at 75%, all in favor of the minus 500 favorite Daniel Zellhuber. I'm really hoping that we turn it around this time. It would suck for him to lose again as a big favorite. I don't currently have a wager on this fight. After some big risks on LFA 227 and the rest of the favorites on this card, I had run out of money by this point. If you want to see those LFA 227 picks, you can go check those out on the Patreon linked below. Everything over there is free. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know the deal. As soon as I get money back from LFA, I will be placing this bet regardless of the line at the time. Our co-main event is a bantamweight bout between David Martinez and Marlon Chito Vera. Really good wager history between these two. I've taken David as an underdog and a big favorite, winning them both. And I've won betting against Marlon on a fight that was basically a pick'em. I'm up about 2 units on these fighters altogether. Again, I've run out of money, but this fight seems to have very good value. All 3 of the models are heavily in favor of David Martinez, and he's currently a minus 277 favorite. Finally, we'll be closing out the night with a flyweight bout between Loner Kavanagh and Brandon Moreno. My betting history on Kavanagh has been absolutely terrible. And my betting history on Moreno just doesn't look much better. Fortunately, most of these fights happened quite a while ago, and the bankroll has grown substantially since then. So even losing 3 out of 4 wagers, I'm only down 0.72 units on these guys. One more fight that I just don't have the money for yet, but all 3 models favor Loner Kavanagh here. He's currently a plus 180 underdog at the books, and he would be the only underdog that I'll be wagering on this week. I hope this line sticks. I would like to get good odds here, but by Friday, they might just get better. That's all of the fights currently on this card, so let's go have a look at our totals. This card currently has 13 fights on it, and I was able to place wagers on 10 of those before I ran out of money. Of those 10 wagers, 8 of them were confident predictions. In total, I risked 65.02 units on this card for a potential return of 14 units. It's a whole lot of favorites, so the ROI is only about 21.5%. I will be placing wagers on the other fights if any of these get canceled or as soon as I get money back from my LFA wagers. So keep an eye on the community posts, or maybe I'll make some shorts. Something. I'll let you guys know where it all totals out in the end. Again, if you want to see those LFA predictions and wagers, go check those out on the Patreon. If you want to talk about other fight and betting stuff, join us on the Discord. Otherwise, hit that like and subscribe button because I really need this channel to grow a little bit. As always, thanks for watching and good luck on all of your bets this weekend.